Broward, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade Real Estate Investors Association, your only local chapter here in South Florida that is approved and in compliance with the National Real Estate Investors Association, which I love them right now because they are taking me on my first vacation of the year. Thank you, National RIA. We'll be going on the cruise very soon. We'll be vlogging probably the entire thing for you guys. So get ready, sit tight for that. But my name is Alexa, COO here at BPM RIA. We have Anish Dave, our CEO and lead mentor in the virtual building. We also have Aisha Moody Mayuri. She is the owner of Highlands Investment Group. And we are super excited to give you an awesome webinar titled The Art of Wholesaling and Personal Growth, which I just love that. Love the sound of that. And to get us started on a super positive note here, I will be giving out one free year membership. Go, go, go. All you need to do is text the word membership to 954-800-6961. So go, go, go. Text that word to that number. You see it on the screen. I also included it in the chat box for you guys. So good luck. I will announce the winner at the very end, and somebody is going to get paid to be here today, which I love that for you. So go, good luck. And guys, I need a minute here. I need a minute to let you guys know what's going on here at BPM RIA. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to get into it just a tad. But tonight, like Anish mentioned, we are meeting over at the Kai's Boca office off Yamato. This is right next to 95. Nobody has any reason to get lost. We're going to have signs out there, super easy, super convenient, but please be careful. Get on I-95 as early as you can. It's just the traffic has been a little bit crazy, so take the roads. It's easy to get there via the roads as well. So we want to see you guys there. Our mentors will be there. Multiple mentors will be there. It's going to be phenomenal. And we'll have realtors. I'm sure there's going to be a lender or two in there for y'all. So how to analyze properties for investment success. And we will be giving somebody a free seat to the 2-day quick start just for showing up, you guys. We want to really praise you guys for that, for showing up for your business, showing up for us, and just doing what you say you're going to do. So 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Hope to see you guys over in Boca tonight. Please put your name on the list so we make sure there's like a coffee and donut for you. I don't know. It's just like good to know who's going to be there, you guys. So thank you guys so much for that. And this Saturday, Miami Shores Country Club, we may or may not be completely sold out, you guys. If you want to do like last chance, I'm going to have to send out a last call. I'm going to have to shut this thing down because you guys did your thing. You went and registered. But if you're interested in this event on Saturday, I recommend going to the link right now and reserving your seat. So I would go do that. It's a full day of learning, lunch included, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Miami Shores Country Club, $49 per person. We're going to have this event is hosted by Next Million Mastermind, but we are going to have some incredible vendors there for you guys to meet. We have Camaplan, Advanced Tax Advisors, Shop Savvy, REI Insurance, like the list goes on. So you guys, please show up. We have Title Now. So please go register right now because you may or may not have a chance to be in this event. So go register for that. And of course, we'll have raffles, all that fun stuff. Miami Shores Country Club, you guys know where it is. And then free webinars. We're coming out with more topics, you guys. So please, if you have any topic recommendations, I want to hear from you. So go to our website and get registered for these free webinars. I will obviously be giving out raffles and fun things at these, and I want you guys to show up and ask your questions, live Q&A, all of that stuff. So get registered for these free webinars you see here. And I'm super excited to say that I will be hosting a free networking event at Funky Buddha. Please, RSVP is required. I need to know who's going to be there so that I have drink tickets for you. So please go RSVP. This is going to be completely networking, complete fun, all sponsored by our vendor partner, Turbo Tenant. So we love Turbo Tenant. They're giving us like a discount code. Look out for your emails for this. 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Funky Buddha. Can't wait to see you there. I will be raffling a free membership, obviously. We love that. So my favorite way to keep up with events, you guys, text the word BPM REIA to 954-800-6961. I put it in the chat for you guys. My favorite way to keep up with events is via text. It's so convenient and easy, and you will love it. So go get on the text list. And boot camp, you guys, it's going to be like, we're gonna blink and it's gonna be the boot camp weekend. So please go get the information you need. Go mark your calendar, book a discovery call. Guys, this is going to be a 2 full day weekend with Anish live via Zoom in the comfort of your home. We're gonna do cameras on, microphones on. You're gonna be locked into a virtual classroom. Member pricing, non-member pricing, you see it on the screen. Link in the chat for the 4 guest speakers that are teaching on this training. What else, you guys? Money back guarantee. If you absolutely hate wholesaling, flipping, and rehabbing, that's what we're going to be getting into. We do have some really cool creative stuff we've added in. We've added in the AI stuff that we're using in our businesses. So if you hate it, you get your money back, but I think you're going to love it. You have a PDF booklet that you get to keep for life. So that is super handy dandy. And thank you guys so much for answering the poll, because it does really help me see that most of you have attended this training, which I absolutely love. So we want to see you guys continue learning with us and doing deals with us. So don't forget that we're always here for you guys. So members, as you guys know, you get all the benefits, you get all the goodies, the discounts to Home Depot. So recent changes with Home Depot. So my members, please look out for your emails. I'll be sending an update as of January 2025. They have changed some things with the Home Depot rebate. So go ahead and look out for your emails with that. But Avis Budget, we love it. I used it last weekend. Super convenient. My rental car was $50. It was just so awesome. So please use your benefits. They're in there. CAMA plan, self-directed IRA, property insurance. You guys must use these. You get in free for our 4 quarterly networking meetings that we have per year. You get member pricing for any special workshops, and your guests come in for discount as well. So go get your membership today. If you have not already, I highly recommend it. So mentoring and coaching, last but very not least, some of you may know that we offer a truly one-on-one coaching program and mentoring program. Some of you have no idea what I'm talking about, and I invite you to go to our website to book a discovery call. We do put up 100% of the money for our students' deals, and we split the profit 50-50. You are matched with your own personal mentor, and we are here to guide you from A to Z. So we are here for you guys. Book the discovery call. I want to speak with you guys one-on-one. So highly recommend booking the discovery call as soon as possible, because I am really booked up right now. So get ahead of it and book your call. I want to talk with you guys one-on-one, see what your goals are, send you the brochure. The brochure has a complete breakdown of everything we include in the programs that we offer, as well as the pricing. So I'm here for you guys. I want to help as much as I can. So here you go. I have a QR code right here. You can scan this if you're interested in funding your education. All you need is the minimum 620 credit score, $35,000 verifiable income, soft credit pull, and you'll get the response within the same day. If you're interested in funding your education, go ahead and scan this QR code you see on the screen, and that will help get you to the funding. Thank you guys for being on this webinar today. I never want to take it lightly that you guys are taking time out of your day to come learn with us and engage and ask questions and grow yourselves. I also want to thank the National RIA again, you guys. I think Harry called the National RIA yesterday to see if they have any seats left. They do have seats left on the cruise, of course, just not the same rate. So please go to nationalriacruise.com. I'll link it in the chat for you guys. But if you can get on the cruise, we can get you into the conference. So please go get the information that you need. Link is in the chat for that. But guys, just a couple housekeeping rules. Please put your questions in the Q&A box because the chat runs quick. Of course, we're going to be talking and chatting with you guys in the chat, but if you do have specific questions for our coaches and mentors on today, please direct those into the Q&A box in your Zoom menu. You'll see it, a little question mark there. So please, we don't want to miss your questions. This is going to be an awesome webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off, but I'll be in the chat. If you guys have any questions from me or any links, you'll see them in the chat box. But put those questions in the Q&A and we're ready. Let's do this thing. Let's
Wow, go Alexa.
go next level
Man,
mastermind.
you better start taking some decaf, girl.
Like this is straight electrolytes.
So my name is Anish Dave, CEO of BPM RIA. I do see some new faces on webinar. I see some old faces. I see some students, all the above. So just in case you didn't know, we were called BRIA, the Broward Real Estate Investors Association. We are the only approved chapter of National RIA here in South Florida. I'm a real estate investor for 20 plus years. You guys know my story, and today's not about me for a change. It's about Aisha. And so what I'm really excited about Aisha, and I'm going to give her the floor to give her background, is our paths have probably crossed for we were just kind of figuring out at least 12, 13 years. I know Aisha looks like she's about 15. So,
Thank you.
you're saying, how can that be even? Yeah, so we've known each other for almost, I'd say 13, 14 years. And I'd say the last few years, I actually really got to know her. And to watch her progress is amazing. How many of you guys have been at the meeting this past Wednesday? Aisha was there, and you could always tell when Aisha walks into the room because she's the best dressed person in the room, right? So even for the webinar, she's got a cool little hat. She's got style. Alexa,
A
make sure
mastermind shirt on.
Alexa, make sure
I can't see
we
it.
put a stylist in my budget next time. So that because I'm gonna have to keep up, yeah, with Aisha to an extent. So Aisha, if you wanna explain what you've been doing and your background to our audience, that'd be awesome.
Sure. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy that you guys all had an opportunity to tune in and you guys are here with us. A little bit about me. Well, I was born in Jamaica, migrated here when I was about 7 years old, grew up in New York. And went to college in New York, moved to Florida. My parents were moved. My mom and stepdad was moving to Florida. I'm like, I'm not moving there. It's for like newlyweds or nearly deads. God forgive me. That's what Florida was known for back then. So that transition is a transition that I didn't want to make. But when I got here, I'm like, okay, I'm never moving back to New York. I absolutely love it here, and I have grown tremendously over the years since I've been here. I am married for several years, happily married for several years. I started in real estate about 20 years ago, believe it or not. The time just goes by quickly. I started out as a mortgage broker, and then after that, got my real estate license and, just became interested in real estate investing. I saw an infomercial and, I'm here now.
Yeah, so couple things, right? First of all, how long you been married? You better know that number pretty quick.
I know it. I know it. 7 years.
I always give the guys a hard time. I'm like, like, hey, I've been married. I'm like, how long? If you don't know quick, your wife's probably listening in. You're gonna be in some trouble. So I've been
I'll
married
make sure
13
my
years.
husband knows it too.
This is recorded. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Ooh,
Yeah.
just kidding.
So, and the thing is, as you could tell, Aisha, and we've been friends for some time and mutual friends. So it's just been pretty fun. And one of the reasons this actually webinar came up because we've chatted and I've seen her growth. And I was like, you got to share this, right? And what I mean by that is, same thing. I was in banking, got my mortgage license, had a mortgage company, became a realtor, then starting into investing, created a fund. So it's the same progress. And for you, like, what was your quote unquote previous job before real estate, if we're going to call it that? Or,
Well, my educational background is actually in social work. So I started into this industry shortly after I got my master's degree in social work. There's a lot of things about that whole social work industry that I didn't love that much, whereas I feel like, well, for the organization that I was with at the time, I feel like they weren't focused more on the population that they were supposed to be serving. I had a big
Mhm.
issue with that.
Yeah.
They were focused more on like the billing and the numbers and not the population. So that was the first issue. The other thing is, coming out of, school with that degree, what they say you start out making, that was another issue. So I knew that I had to find alternative ways. It's so funny because while I was in grad school, my father asked me, he's like, "You sure you're gonna make money with that?" And of course, I was able to list every reason how I could make money, who I would make money, and then, afterwards, I was just pulled elsewhere. However, that didn't go to waste because I do psychology and social work and like every deal,
Well, that's what I was going to bring up is
yeah, that I'm working on with a degree, a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in social work. At first I didn't really see how it would fit in. I thought it was just, oh yeah, not really a conversational piece because it's not something that I just tell people about. Some people have known me for years and don't even know that. But it's pretty helpful in just knowing how to deal with people in
well,
these
that's what I was going to say
transactions.
is that,
Yeah.
in our part of the business, and we'll talk about wholesaling or just the real estate investing, it is a lot of, I'm going to use psychology, social services,
Yes.
dealing with people. How about that, right? Like you
Yes.
like, you have to get good at that, be
Yes.
good in this industry
Absolutely.
so you can massage those relationships. That's probably the
Hmm.
right way I could say it. But without because the personalities in general in our industry, and what I'm also going to add is South Florida or Florida is a different beast versus
Yeah.
other wholesaling, other states, which I've done. It's a different kind of a market, and you just have to adapt to it. So yeah, I didn't, having those having that background, 1,000,000%, I know has helped your business.
Yeah, definitely. Just knowing how to deal better with people, knowing how to fight for what you want, but in a nice way.
Yeah,
Typical example is made an offer on a property the other day, and the realtor for some reason wanted my driver's license. I'm like, it's not an REO, it's not, why do you need
yeah,
my license? So I basically, got him on the phone and told him in a nice diplomatic way, I'm not giving you my license. You don't need it. The
yeah,
title company has it, but it's all about how you speak to people. A
yeah,
lot of the times it's not necessarily what you say, but how you go about saying it that makes a world of a difference in any industry, not only the real estate
yeah.
industry.
Yeah, going up north too, right? Going up in Jersey, we're a little bit more straightforward.
Yes.
Maybe I'm going to say rougher around the edges, maybe.
Uh-huh.
It depends on that end of it, right? So sometimes you have to massage, as I said, those relationships. And so
Exactly.
let's kind of actually talk about on the vesting side because I know you wholesale. Do you want to talk about what you've done on the real estate investing side and what you focus on now?
Sure. So my strength is wholesaling deals. I've done hundreds of wholesale deals. So, I've been putting my reps in with that
Got it.
for several years now. I also rehab as well. My father's my business partner. My husband is also, involved in the business as well. But my dad, he is like the project coordinator, project manager. He does a lot of hand in hand work with the
Mhm.
rehab. That's his strength. He has project management for 40 something years coming from Jamaica. He has that experience. So he loves, going to Home Depot a lot and floor and decor. And,
Yeah.
he's very good with dealing with the contractors. I am as well, but that's what he loves to do. So, we all have to work at our strength. I really believe in doing things from a strength-based perspective. And that's very important in your business, knowing who to place where, very important,
Mhm.
very crucial, as you always mention.
Yeah, and 100% too. So,
Mhm.
you guys may or may not know, Aisha is also in our Next Million mastermind group too.
I
So
am.
we
I
actually have a
am.
direct contact. Not only have I been watching from afar, I'm in the same group with her. So we're always happy and watching her growth happen is pretty awesome. On the wholesaling side, are you doing, what's your markets? Let's start with that. What
Sure.
market?
Primarily Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you like, why did you pick, I know there's obvious reasons. Is it just because you live here or that's what came easy to you?
Proximity, but I do plan on branching out a bit,
Okay.
as well to other markets, seeing how that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
primarily
so
the Tri-County.
yeah, so I'm gonna add, right? Like I heard you mention, right, on your team, you got dad, right? He's the rehab general contractor guy, to an extent. Your husband's on the team. Who's on your wholesale team? We're gonna start with that. So
So I have VAs on the team. I'm actually going to be onboarding more VAs because when I'm doing things and I just get frustrated with doing it and I
Mhm.
feel like I'm doing $5 tasks, it aggravates me. So I'm actually planning on hiring more VAs. I have a vision in my mind of exactly how I want everything to look. So I
Yeah.
just have to, just take step by step and get that done. And being a part of the Next Mill Mastermind, you guys are ensuring
Yeah. So
I'm getting
let
stuff
first of all,
done as
like how
well.
many VAs do you have now? Like we're gonna kind of break down when you first started, you- did you hire VAs right away or how did that work? Or you're just kind of figuring it out or like what did that really look like? Or did you say, look, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna build out a plan and a team, or what I did, right? I didn't have a budget. And what I mean by that, I had no money. It wasn't an
Mhm.
unlimited budget. It was the exact opposite.
Same
I had
here.
no budget. I was the budget, right? On that
Yeah.
end of it. So
Yeah.
I had to learn and figure all that stuff out, right? Obviously, I had software with ReFacts
Mhm.
to use, and I really didn't even have much money for mailings. So I was driving for dollars and knocking on doors
Yeah.
on that end of it. And I didn't really have, cold callers and VAs. And back then, definitely it's different, right? With all the
Mhm.
tools that have happened technology wise. So it was a challenge, right? How many different hats are you wearing? I'm the acquisition guy, I'm the disposition guy, I'm HR to myself, right? Like, so when you start, like, I want to hear like how when you started, it was just like, what did that look like, right? You said, okay, I want to I got my mortgage license, I got my real estate license. We talked about it. You did the old BRIA program with Bill and Jan and Dave Dankle and all that stuff, and you wanted to be investing. What happened from there? You said, okay, I'm
So,
gonna get into this.
yeah. So it all started with a decision.
Yeah.
It started with an infomercial and then a series of steps afterwards. But just in that first decision, like just watching the infomercial, I could have sat on my couch or my bed, whatever, wherever I was at the moment that I heard it, and it said, "Oh, this sounds interesting. I'll get to it one day," and that one day never happened. So many people that happens with, but at the time, I'm like, sounds interesting. I'm gonna take action. When is this meeting? Sign up for it. When and I'm like, what? Just for doing ABC, I could make 7 grand, 5 grand. I want to know more. So
Yeah.
I just started learning more and more and more. At first, it was like so overwhelming before I got to doing the course with Bria many years ago. I did another course where we paid a total of maybe 30 something thousand. And I think a lot of people who have ever try to get into this business have similar stories. I hear it all the time. It's amazing. We have similar stories. So it was a lot of information. I think it was almost information overload. So I had the information, but didn't quite know what to do with it, how to piece it together. everything like that. So one of the things that they did say is join your local RIA. I didn't even know what a RIA was, but when I researched it, that's how I found BRIA, and I just started to go to the
Yeah.
meetings. And to this day, I still go to meetings, seminars, I get on webinars because you always should be striving to learn. So
Yeah.
initially, it was still like foreign to me, but I said to myself, I made another decision. I said, I am going to commit myself and I'm going to learn this stuff. I know it's not rocket science. If other people are doing it, I could do it too. They may just, be a few steps well ahead, but
Yeah.
it's not rocket science. If I apply myself, if I learn what I need to learn, I'll be able to do it. And then going to my first meeting, I was just so amazed. It was like a whole new world, as they say, from a new perspective, a new point of view. I'm like, I said, these people, I want to get to know these people, and I want them to know me also. And each time I go to the meetings, it's if I could pick up one nugget or meet one new person or, learn one strategy. To this day, that's why I still go. So initially, you have to figure it out. You have to be your own accountant, your own bookkeeper, your own marketer, your own acquisitions, as you said, dispo. You have to wear all the hats. But as you grow, of course, you want to delegate some of those things. So just being around like-minded people, being around like mentors and people that have way more knowledge than me, that has made the mistakes that I don't want. They already made those mistakes, so there's no reason for me to duplicate that. It's to learn from their experience, and then just
Absolutely.
to compress the learning time. I don't want
Yeah.
to take 10, 20 years to learn a certain thing. I want to learn from your vicariously through your experiences.
Yeah, there's some pretty big things there that you said, right? So same boat, right? I spent over 50,000 national program. I know Harry's on the call. Him and Victoria spent over 55. The four other mentors, so the five of us did five national programs, all different ones, right? Anywhere from 25 to 55,000 is what we
Wow.
spend. And combined, we did zero deals between all five of us on the national programs.
Yeah.
Right. And now
Same
we do
here.
this, yeah, and we all do this full time. So you don't have to put in the chat, right? If you've actually done a national program, don't let it be a death sentence, right? So I kind of joke about it and I say, I'm a national program survivor. I feel like I should set up a group or something like that, right?
I like
Uh,
that one, Anish.
and so that's one of the things that's out there. And one of the things that you said is that you took action. So you've been around for a while, owning the RIA for, over a decade. I probably met thousands of people, good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and you want this for them. First of all, what I like the way your attitude is the same as we have also with our team is there's enough room for everyone to make money.
Hmm.
We truly believe in abundance. And, you have to take action. There's a couple things he said, take action and commitment. And so I'm going to ask you, like, you guys know when you watch these webinars, sometimes I have no filter. So, sometimes I might ask a tougher question or not. And then I'll give you my experience on too is, so I know your dad's in the business with you, your husband. How is your supporting group? And it could be your immediate family, close friends when you said I'm no longer going to do social services and to get into real estate, right? Or when you were ready to write a check for $30,000, was your inner group supportive or not supportive? I'm just curious on that.
Very supportive.
Okay.
Very supportive because if I'm, talking about it, that means that it must be a passion
Yep.
that I have, and they must know that I'm just not gonna randomly. I don't like just jump into things without, you know, knowing or having like a certain
Yep.
feeling. about it. And if I do, when I do go into things, I'm typically committed. So, they know it's not a random thing,
Yeah, yeah,
so they were very
yeah.
supportive.
Okay. And the reason I bring that up, right? My parents, financial analyst is dad, mom's an accountant. Dad always worked at the same company for 35 plus years, right? Back then, hey, we're
Mhm.
at our company, they're gonna take care of you, blah, blah, blah. And of course they haven't, right? I'm helping out my dad and their 401k, like just not enough, right? Different,
Yeah.
business model. I read, when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I
Hmm.
realized my dad was poor dad and I was on the path of being poor dad.
Hmm.
So when I looked at it and I said, oh, I really need to change this, and I spent the money on the national program. I was in real estate investing, and then when the market started changing, that's when I did the national program, right? So I took my last bit of money in there, and so the challenge. I'm not going to say they weren't supportive. What happened was I did that, and I wasn't making any money, right? Like
Hmm.
I spent the money, you took all your money, you put this, and when they're not in it, they're looking at results. And I get it, like meaning, hey, it's been 6 months and you still haven't made any money, or whatever
Yeah.
that was, right? So what are you doing? I can't believe, and went from supportive to you tried it your way, go back to corporate America, right? That's what happened to me.
Hmm.
And for me, so as a good Indian son, they told they like the national programs. They said go to your local RIA. Never knew what a RIA is. We talked about this. That
Hmm.
never heard of it. Remember back then, also like YouTube was relatively new.
Yes.
Social media was different all the way through.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's how I went to Bria. And I lied to my parents. Like I still laugh about this.
Oh
And,
boy.
and said, I'm not, by the way, you shouldn't lie. I'm not, what I mean by that was
You
they wanted
twisted
me
the
to go back
truth a
to corporate
little.
America. And I was like, yeah, 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 I'll go ahead and do it. And I slept on my cousin's couch and I had no backup plan. I said, I got to figure this out. And if I don't, then I'm going to have to go back to corporate America. So I lied to him and said I was looking for a job and I wasn't. I was out there hustling, doing that end of it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you may see in this business, because hopefully we can all agree, right, that this is not a get rich quick, right?
It's
We
not.
start with that foundation that hopefully our audience understands this is not a get rich quick thing. And sometimes it's the closest people to you, it could be a spouse, as I said, parents, or whatever that looks like. And when they don't see the results right away, it's number one. And my parents just said no because they weren't entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
It's a different hat.
They don't understand the mindsets, the discipline. They don't under when you're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I just think people don't understand the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
You
How many
know.
guys in it? Get into the chat. Is everyone? Have you guys had the same situation as myself or Aisha? Whether they're supportive, not supportive. You don't have to tell me their names. I'm not going to tell on you. On that. You know what the best part is? So my dad comes to the meeting sometimes. So if you guys, our audience, you've been to the BPM RIA meeting, you'll see the old Indian skinny guy, and like obviously super proud
Mhm.
now. And I always joke about it because he's like, he always said that he's like, I knew you could always do this. And I was like, I don't remember it that way. So I was like, if I had to do
Yeah.
it over again, I'd definitely record it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just to be like, I told you. And again, that's not what should run you. And again, you just don't know. If you don't know the industry as an entrepreneur and mindset, it's a different kind of mentality of what happens.
Yeah.
So you always have to look at the people that say you can't do it or the market's too busy, rates
And
are too high, too many people are doing this. Look at where they are financially.
it's not that they don't see the best for you.
Yeah,
They don't understand. That has never been their journey. So it's difficult for them to do that. But what I'm grateful for with my family is even though they're, not, my mom or grandma is not like entrepreneurial,
yeah,
they really like had faith in me, and
yeah,
they knew that, if I put my mind to it,
yeah,
that I'll do it. My dad is very my husband, oh my gosh. He's had to deal with me, well, since he was my boyfriend back then, and like the ups and downs, and
Yeah.
he had to almost take on my stresses.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love about him, he always like encourage. He's like, "You're thinking too small."
Yeah.
He's like, "You got this." And I'm like, "Oh, but my phone is not ringing." He's like, "Aisha, when your phone starts to ring, you're not gonna have enough hands to answer." Just like,
Yeah.
very encouraging, very supportive. Why are you nervous? You got this. You
Yeah.
got so you
Yeah.
need people like that in your corner, and I'm very grateful to
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah, and as I'm picking on my parents on that, I mean, it's true. I agree with you. They said the same stuff of, hey, you could do this, put your mind. What I could tell personally, and we're gonna like today we're also gonna talk about a little about mindset. My
Mhm.
mindset at that time was not hearing that, right? Like, and so again, it's all about the way something's said, and it's the way you react to it or what you hear,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely.
in my mind, they're also saying, well, you're not producing, like you have no money, or what's happening with this. Same thing. I'm very fortunate. My wife always says, you could do it. You're a smart guy, figure it out, right?
Hmm.
So
And
she
we
does
always
this.
seem to figure it out. My thing, okay, I'll figure it out. I'm like, a lot of times I'm like so nonchalant
Yeah,
about stuff.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
figure it out. I'll get it done.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's what helps me.
the reason I wanted to kind of touch on that was when they see you on the outside or they see me or on that stuff, all they see is the success,
Yeah.
right? And they don't really realize the journey is number one. It's funny, even though again I'm very grateful I do well. I still have PSTD from losing everything in 2008. One of the
Mhm.
things that, and I don't mind sharing this, is it's kind of funny. I literally check every morning to make sure I still have money. I'm like, I do meditation, yoga, and I still have to check. I'm trying to do all these things. It's a different kind of anxiety.
Yeah.
It's easy when the market's changing, right? Like our market here has got a little bit softer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The interest rates on that, it's easy to, I call it noise, to get
Hmm.
caught up on it, right? Well, obviously with the new president, politics, it's easy to get caught up on that and talk yourself of um, why it's not a good time to invest or to
Hmm.
get into wholesaling. And so today, actually, we're also going to talk about mindset.
Hmm.
And I know that's one of your passions and not just about wholesaling. So,
Yeah.
like let's talk about what mindset, mindset's everything. So
It,
how did okay, so in the beginning when you were scared, right? I could say you were scared when you first started, right? Or I'll speak for me because I didn't know how to do it. I wasn't sure. To wake up in the morning and not realize I have a paycheck was kind of weird. Uh,
yeah.
and so like how do you start with that mindset? Like what does that look like mentally first in this business?
Well, Um, if you think you could do something or if you think you can't, you're right. It's what you think,
Yeah.
that you're capable of doing. And mindset really shape how you respond to challenges, setbacks, and even how you respond to opportunities, right? If you
Mhm.
have like a positive growth mindset, you're not going to see things as obstacles or as not working out. You're going to see them as learning experience because even when we don't win, we learn.
Yeah.
That's something that is so important for everybody to remember. A lot of times people see I don't want to say glitz and glamour, but glitz and glamour of the industry. But there's
Yeah.
certain times that, it's not a good week or not a good month or the year is a little rough. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
people have to understand, and despite what the market is doing, in my opinion, you have to work on yourself and your mindset more than you work on anything else. You have to focus on being solution oriented because with some people, they're just focusing on the problem. Just
Yeah.
focusing on the problem, you're just going to create more problems.
Correct.
It's so important for you to focus on the solution. How can it work? What can I do to make it work? What can I do different to make it work? You also have to be adaptable and being flexible in your approach. I remember several years ago, I was, when I first started doing wholesale, I was getting certain results. And then, like, the results shifted. I'm like, I'm doing the same thing, getting the different results. What's going on? Sometimes you have to pivot, you have to do different things. You have to increase your offer percentage, increase your outlook on how to get deals done. A lot of times you have to be creative, and that's where experience and everything else comes in, because whereas for a new person, for example, they may not see an opportunity in it. I'll look at it and I say, oh, if I do this, that, and that, then I can
Yeah.
get the same outcome that I want to get. Another thing that you have to do is visualize your success. What does that feel like? What does that
Mm,
look like? What places would you go that you wouldn't normally have gone to?
yeah.
What vacations can you take with that new success? So that's something to keep in mind. I would never forget the first time I went to the Bria office many, many years ago. I saw on the wall, like, Bill had, like, pictures from vacations. And I'm like, I was just so intrigued by it. I
Yeah.
was, much younger than I am now then. And I'm like, wow, I want to be able to go there. I want to be able to swim with
Yeah.
dolphins. I want to be able to do this if I choose to. So, it's
Right.
just about put it in your reps
Yeah.
and, staying dedicated to learning, to growing so that you too can achieve, the things that you want to achieve out of life, to go to places that you want to go.
Yeah. So now that we're talking about deals, what was your first wholesale deal? Like how much did you make or what did it look like? Or I'm just kind of curious and I'll tell you mine.
So I was gonna say it happened by accident, but it wasn't by accident. So I was, I had my real estate license at the time,
Hmm.
and at that time there was like a lot of REOs. I had just started going to the meetings, and there was a particular REO deal that just kept on coming back. And I'm like, if these people have cash and they're buying cash, how comes this deal keep on coming back? At that time, I wasn't able to piece all the pieces of the puzzle together just to see what was happening. And I said to myself, I'm a real estate investor. I'm going to try to buy this. Okay, you need proof of funds. I don't have it, but I'll figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
So I figured out how to get the proof of funds, made the offer on the property, and I'm like, okay, now I have to sell it. I had no idea to do that. I didn't have a buyer's list today. Thankfully, I have a very good buyer's list, and a lot of wholesalers come to me also to move their deals. If it's a good deal, I'll be able to sell it. Um, so I remember hearing at the meeting, if you have any deals you're working on, bring it to us and we can sell it for you. So that's what I did. I called, told them about the deal, and it wasn't a great deal, and it was out there for a little while. But after a while, like, one of the top rehabbers at the time, they decided to buy it.
Hmm.
I didn't understand, like, the contract process for hosts. I knew it for traditional real estate, but I didn't know it for hosts. I didn't really know
Yeah.
what was going on behind the scenes. I just
Correct.
know I had a contract. Eventually, a buyer was found. There were things happening with title and everything else in the background. And then, I just knew we were going to go to closing. Things were
Yeah.
explained to me, but I didn't fully grasp everything. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Sometimes people tend to think they have to know everything. You don't have to know everything. I don't think you'll ever know everything.
Yeah. You
You
won't.
have to know where to get information
Correct.
and who to get information from. So you can't let analysis paralysis just stop you from
Yeah.
getting, nothing, stop you from ever getting anything done. I'm sure even like the top people, they don't know everything, but they
100%.
surround themselves with people, and they place themselves in environments that, if you don't know something, you could always pick up the phone or text somebody who's, a couple of steps ahead of you that they
Right.
may know. So The
And it,
property got sold. The check was, I think it totaled like close to $4,000. I have to find it. I do have a copy. I'll find it and try to bring it on over the weekend.
yeah,
And that that was proof of concept. I never looked
yeah.
back then. I just
There's a couple of things that are really important. What you said is the analysis paralysis. How many of you guys put in the chat? Analysis paralysis is a problem, right? And if you don't put anything in the chat, you know what that means, Aisha? They got analysis paralysis to even put it into
exactly,
the chat.
exactly, exactly.
Like, I don't know if I should put it or I shouldn't put it. What are they going to think about me? Yeah. So, yeah, that's number one, right? You just got to get rid of that. And it's
Yeah.
normal, right? It's just a normal thing that happens. So, my
Mhm.
first deal, it wasn't an REO. It was like just a regular deal, knocked on doors. I used to be a buy and a fix and flipper, or I was keeping them. So I didn't know anything about wholesaling. I didn't really think it worked, or I was
Mhm.
confused. I still had
That's
that traditional
interesting.
realtor mindset. And so I got under contract with 500 bucks and I got it sold. So my assignment in the contract was, and it was actually Bria, Bill, and Jan. These guys helped out a little bit.
Yeah,
And we got it sold and my profit was 2,000 bucks. I was so
hmm
excited,
of
meaning
course.
I 4x'd my money. Like you said, proof of concept. That's why I'm laughing.
Yes.
You've done, six-figure deals. I'm still more excited about that little deal that it worked. So that's why I was
And
just kind of
it gave
curious.
you belief and hope.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's so, and the reason I bring these stories up, and it's not just me because I've talked about this.
hmm
Almost every successful investor I know has gone through this process. It wasn't
Yes.
just magically you woke up and you're like, man, I know everything. So having the right team, right? Obviously with the RIA, it's pretty easy for us. If I need to call someone for title, insurance, it's easy to give me an attorney on the phone and
Mhm.
having that power team.
Of course.
So a couple things that you said is if you're gonna wait until you know everything, I'm just gonna give you the secret. You're not gonna know everything. And
Mhm.
it's okay, right? So that was the big freedom for me as soon as I didn't know anything. I'm also gonna ask you something different because that you will go through that I don't. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head is our industry right now, I would say, and I'm not gonna, these are my percentages I'm gonna use.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say probably it's 70 or 80% male oriented. Is that fair? Would you say?
I
Uh,
would say, yeah.
80 maybe. So don't
Maybe.
I have no real data. I'm just gonna go by like all the people I know on it. So it might be more, it might be less. What challenges, right? Especially when you could add that in, whether it's the wholesaling side or the rehabbing side of being a woman in this industry. Like what I mean, what do you run into, or have you not seen anything, or you just say thanks for sharing um, on that? Like, what kind of challenges has happened to you?
Well, let me first mention a good thing before I get into the challenges.
Okay.
When you're doing especially off market properties or even on market, when you go to properties, people are more willing to let you in or to speak to you. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's a little bit more challenging in some perspectives in a male dominated business because I know with me, for example, especially if I haven't done a deal with that particular person before,
Yeah.
because a lot of the times I'm soft spoken or nonchalant
You're
about
soft-spoken? No
it.
way.
Well, I'm not like
I'm just saying, I'm
I
not
don't know
buying
the
that, but
word.
that's fair, I guess.
Yeah, I think I think sometimes like the men just think I don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
or I'm not as experienced as they are, or I'm
Mhm.
not as knowledgeable. But then the
Mm.
minute they start to come at me with nonsense, they easily know that, it's not happening.
Right.
Sometimes people try to like pound you down on like fees and all that stuff a lot, but being a woman, they may not do as much with their male counterparts, but you have to really advocate for yourself more, I would say, just to be able to you know accomplish the same thing as a male.
Hmm.
That's what I would say.
Okay. Yeah. As
Yeah.
because luckily, I know successful real estate investors around the country
Hmm.
that are women, and especially on the construction side.
Hmm.
I have a friend, a very good friend of mine out of Milwaukee that was turning a church into a venue, and it was an $8 million construction, and all the from the architects to the construction people, they just never took her serious. Like she had all these other, they're like, oh, can I speak to your boss? She's like,
Yeah.
I'm the boss, right? So it was just a very different end of it, and I also do agree that the off market going to houses on that end of it, I think you have a better or women in general may have a maybe less intimidating is
Yeah.
what I've seen that on conversations. Also, it depends on
Yeah.
your tone, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, your social background, your social services
Hmm.
background, and psychology helps you in that matter too.
Hmm.
So I think it's important to use all the tools you have, right? So
Yeah.
Monty's actually asking, who are the critical members to establish at your power team?
A good title company, a good attorney, good mentors, good contractors, good virtual assistants. Did I miss anything, Anish?
Yeah, no, that insurance, right? Obviously,
Oh yeah,
you're
key
gonna need
insurance. Yeah.
yeah, and money partners, right? Also,
and
if it's
and
not hard
money
money or
partners.
on that end of it, it's going to be really important. What about let's kind of talk about because I like what Monty asked actually. How do you figure out like, yeah, granted you need those partners, right? So how did you pick on your power team? Did you, whether it's the title company, lenders, like did you interview a few, or how does that work? Or you try them out for a deal? What is, I mean, I have my favorite people too, and they're all part of our RIA. So internally at BPM RIA, I pretty much used every vendor as possible because I want to see what that experience is like.
Hmm.
But someone new, is there any guidelines or advice you would have?
So my vendors also all came from the RIA meetings.
Okay.
You know, came from like the dream meeting, like going there, you
Yeah.
meet you meet everybody you pretty much need. Now some people may not work as effectively as
Hmm.
others, so if choose, let's say for a wild example, one title company, and then one of them drop the ball and another one is always on top of stuff, always calling you
Hmm.
before you need information. So you kind of,
Yeah.
you choose from there just who come through for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And George, you're right. Also, we did forget a good accountant tax advisor.
yeah,
Like you
hmm,
want to add that to your power team. Thanks for adding that in. But that
yeah,
that is absolutely important when it
very
comes to
important.
it. So yeah, trust me, I've in the past made a lot of money and then I didn't have a good tax advisor. So I paid
Hmm.
a lot of money on the outside of it too.
Yeah.
As we're talking about, mindset, right? Like I'm gonna kind of go back to the mindset
Hmm.
also. Right. So right now on your team, how many VAs do you have? You said you have,
So I have two VAs on the team.
and what are they doing? Any acquisition, cold calling? Like what's their
Because I
definition?
had VAs doing cold calling, texting, but now it's just, acquisitions, doing stuff on ReaFax and other little tax tasks for me. I use ReaFax every day.
Yeah. So let me ask you that because the people always, I mean, I run through this all the time, right? Obviously, yeah, you like you what you said earlier, the $5 task, one
Hmm.
million percent, right? So, how many of you guys are like myself, and I'm gonna throw Alexa in this too. She won't get mad at me, but we're control freaks, right? So we want, we need to drive everything, otherwise it's not gonna get done. And then, you need to compartmentalize those tasks are $5 an hour or $4 an
Hmm.
hour on
Hmm.
that end of it. So how did you, on the VAs, if they're cold calling, right? Did you actually first of all, where are they? Are they what country?
Philippines.
Philippines.
Mhm.
Are they actually cold calling for you
No,
or
they're mostly doing like ReaFax and other
research?
little tasks.
Okay.
I had to learn the system first
Yeah.
so that I could train them on what they need to know. One of the most important things though is like a big revelation to me because I like to, as you said, have control of things, how things are going. And then I was on a training or a webinar something years ago, and the person said, if you could find someone that does something for you, even 80% of how you do it, that can be life changing. And that stuck in my head,
Yeah.
so they don't have to do it 100%, but at least 80%. That way you can, spend your time on more important tasks
Yeah.
like revenue generating tasks and
Yeah.
growth tasks.
So what's funny is like I think we both have a lot of the same traits. It's that perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to be
Yeah.
perfect, or even Alexa will tell you over the years, like I even at our meetings, sometimes things wouldn't work. Internally, I'm almost having a meltdown. Yeah, it's like that cheap smile, and I'm like, oh my God, everyone sees this. And what you're gonna really realize, which was the aha moment, is really most of the time, most people won't ever see it, number one. And it's
Exactly.
really not a big deal versus your mindset and energy changes quickly at the
Yes.
event or in front of the homeowner or whatever that looks like.
Hmm.
And it directly affects your business. Uh,
Yeah.
so like, if you guys, some of you guys have been to our meetings and the projector doesn't work or this doesn't work. And in the old me, the way I operate was I'd be super upset. I'm like, I hired professionals. How's this happening?
Hmm.
And now, okay, things are going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So the answer is like, well, maybe you could have done it better. And what are you doing, right? Like at that end of it,
Yes.
because as the business owner, right, we talk about this at the mastermind, you need to have the vision. I'm a big believer you can outsource everything except the vision.
Yes.
Right? You can't, and again, you could use, we're using a lot of AI stuff within our business. You could
Hmm.
use the AI to help expand your vision, to get it correctly of what you really want. The challenge is, as you're running this team, right? You're looking to add more VAs, or if you're adding more staff indirectly, your husband, your dad, like they're all part of the team, right? Indirectly, and you're on top. So
Hmm.
the key is, right, if it's about vision, systems, and people.
Hmm.
If you have the right vision and the right people and no systems, what happens? It's chaotic, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Nothing like, what the heck? I don't know where this thing's follow up on that anyway. Well, if you have the right system and the right people and no vision, they're going to be like, what the heck are we doing? Like, I'm not really sure. Are we trying to do this on that end of it, right? And then the third is you have the vision and the right system, but you have all the wrong people in the wrong seats. So you
Yeah.
need the one like in between. That sweet
Hmm.
spot is like if you have three circles, you need a little bit of each.
Yes.
And that's the key that I see with entrepreneurs, including myself, is the challenge.
Hmm.
Internally, with BPM RIA, even with the mentors, and obviously, I'm very lucky to have Alexa, our own Alexa, right? The CEO. And our movement on the RIA side changed dramatically as soon as I explained my vision, right? And so when I'm not even around, our VAs, they all like the whole team, they see the vision. So I think that's really important on the mindset
Hmm.
is working on that also. On
The
the
vision
whole,
of people shall perish.
Yep, exactly. And so even on the mindset, right? I know we're kind of bouncing kind of all over stuff and the people that know me that watch it like I am all over the place to an extent. Whatever comes to my mind, it just pops up. So on the mindset, what other things are you doing? Are you like exercising? Is there uh, a higher power on that end of it? Are you meditating? Like, how do you get that right mindset when because sometimes, as we mentioned, things are going wrong, the deal, right? The
Yeah.
wholesaler, the seller, all this stuff is happening. And
It's a lot that
it's
happened with these deals.
yeah, yeah, like that breakdown
Yeah.
point is happening. So
Yes.
what do you do stuff daily, weekly? What does that look like?
I try to do it daily. So one of the lessons that I've had to learn, and for women in particular, it's very, it tends to be a little bit more challenging than with
Mm,
men because we're so accustomed to taking care of everybody else first and leaving ourselves for last. I used to do that, but I have gotten out of the habit quite a bit of doing that. So I realized the importance of filling me up first because
yeah.
you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to make sure you're okay before you make sure everybody else is okay. So
Hmm.
typically, what I do when I get up in the morning, I read my thing, thankful, grateful, and truly blessed. I do my devotions. Sometimes I do gratitude. I need to get back into that, send my devotions out, and then I do my prayer and working out in the mornings. I started to work out more. You've encouraged me to post some stuff, so I do
Yeah,
that
I see it.
at least once a week. And what I noticed, because like in previous years, in the evenings used to be better for me as far as like exercising and everything, but you have more control of your mornings. So
Yeah,
what would happen sometimes, I'll say, oh, I'll go in the evenings, and then this come up, I got to go to this property, I got to do this,
yeah,
I got to do that,
yeah,
and it never happens. And then that happens for a couple of days, couple of weeks, so now I try to make sure that's done several mornings for the week.
yeah,
And I don't waste my workouts, meaning I'm not just working out, listening to music, and no, my workout is personal development time,
yeah,
like prayer walks, personal development
yeah,
walks. I'm at the gym, I'm listening to a
yeah,
podcast, a webinar. It's very, very rare that I just
yeah,
listen to music,
yeah,
so you just have to take care of yourself, make sure you're exercising, make sure you're doing your self care. If
yeah.
that means getting your nails done, get your hair done, if
Hey, 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 I get my hair done.
yeah, you get your hair, it's well done now, Anish. If that means going down to the beach and just
Yeah,
sitting and meditating, watching the water, something like that.
yeah,
And I'm more and more, I'm noticing how important it is just to take, if it's even 10 minutes out
yeah,
and just pause. I don't know if it's the same with you, but like with me, my mind is always running. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, this, that.
yeah,
And sometimes I try to like slow it down. So I'm
yeah,
trying to be more mindful of that and just taking like a 10-minute break in the evening just to breathe and,
yeah.
meditate.
Yeah, I do. It's funny. I do a 20-minute meditation. I've been
Yeah.
probably doing it for about 5 months.
Hmm.
So it's a good pause. It's funny because, and I don't mind sharing, like I got high blood pressure, there's stuff. And so I have a blood pressure machine to check. And it's really interesting. After I meditate, my blood pressure goes down.
Yeah.
Right. So these little things, and I was always in that conversation. I'm too busy. And then I'm like, I'm really not that busy. I'm being busy to be busy, right?
Yeah.
Meaning like,
There's a
oh, I
there's
don't
a
have
big
time.
difference.
Yeah, like, oh, I
There's
don't
a
have
big
time to do this.
difference.
Well, then, yeah, and what I realized, even on the time blocking that we did on the at the mastermind also is
Mhm.
you really do have time. So I always joke about is anything I really, really wanted to do. I want to go watch the Dolphins game, or I want to do this.
Mhm.
Oh, and I knew it was at 1 o'clock, right? I made sure I did everything else I need to do
Mhm.
because that was important to me.
Yes.
So I started adding that in. I believe in the same thing. It's funny, my mornings, I live on Las Olas, so the good thing for me is like the beach is really close. I
Oh,
am a
yeah.
big coffee guy, so I'll grab a coffee. I'm a Dunkin' Donuts guy, and I'll ride past the beach. And so sometimes
Good.
I'll just sit there and have coffee there. Sometimes I'll shoot some hoops in the morning out there.
Yeah.
And so you need to, and I think that's what's important because like that mindset of clarity is going to make a big difference. I know Desiree is actually asking where can you get started in wholesaling if you're a newbie? What I'm going to say is, well, you should join the 2-day quick start because we're going to go from the beginning. And what advice would you give someone that wants to get started in wholesaling if they're new to it?
Just go around the campfire and stay around the campfire.
Yeah,
It may sound simple, but it's very powerful. If someone wants to learn basketball, they're gonna go to basketball games, they're gonna try to learn more and more about it. But at the same time, be careful who you learn from. Because there's a, a lot of YouTube University that
yeah.
they just learned yesterday.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I always tell people. The same thing is you got to be careful. And obviously, you've done. I believe in mentorship, so I've
yes.
invested in those last 2 years well over $120,000 on
Hmm.
masterminds and investing, and I do well. Obviously, you invested in Next Mill Mastermind, and you do well.
Yes.
And I always my attitude is as well as I do, I have a bunch of unfinished business.
Of
That's my
course.
attitude, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
great. And the other thing that was really interesting for me, I don't know if this is what happened to you, was, and I'm going to use like your social services background, like that job. So,
Hmm.
you're going to make X amount a year or X amount a month, whatever that looks like. And let's say you said, man, if I only made double that, like let's pretty easy numbers, like maybe the job starts at 50,000, right? Or whatever your number is in your life.
Hmm.
And then you're like, man, if I only made $100,000, everything would be great. Yeah, like it's gonna like, man, I got everything. And so I had a number personally, same thing, like, I was like, oh, if I only make, 125,000 at one point, like, man, I mean, life will be awesome and I have everything I want. And so what's happened is, as I start making, 7 figures a year, it was funny because it like I don't like I have a friend that asked me, he's like, does it change for you? Like now you got a big check for, you just did a deal and made 70 or $80,000. And I go, it actually doesn't, right? It just like, yeah, we got it, and let's move on to the next deal on that. So has
Yeah.
that happened to you, or
Yeah.
am I a little unique I'm just curious on your end of it as you're building your business and you're seeing the profits go up, generally speaking. Has it changed you to an extent, or
It not really because it's a number. Like, you close big deals sometimes, and I'm like, okay, on to the next one. And it's sad because sometimes, like, I try to do it more now. Like, I don't even like celebrate myself, and
yeah,
but I try to get in the habit of doing it. So I have to find something
yeah.
to celebrate my most.
Well, if you want,
But
I know Alexa and I are free. You could take us out to dinner. We know some very expensive places. I know Alexa just went on a super expensive dinner for yesterday. So I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, I bet our audience, if you need help spending money, go and put in the chat that Aisha, take me out. Put it in the chat. So if that's a challenge for you, our community will gladly help you on that, right? That's not even a problem. I mean, here's a good
yes.
question. They're asking, how do you hone in on your vision? What's too much to do? And how do you confirm what you see as opportunities are not pipe dreams, but real? So on your vision, I'll let you answer that, and
Yeah, the first thing you have to do is write it down
yes.
because sometimes we have like goals and plans, and a lot of times it just becomes a wish if we
Yeah,
don't write it down. I mean, I don't remember
yeah,
everything. So
yeah.
it's good to write it down and
I thought only husbands don't
and
remember everything. That's what my wife always tells me.
it's good to write it down and have it in front of you. And then you want to limit distractions as well. I think that helps a lot. And as far as like whether if it's an opportunity or not an opportunity, I think that comes more with experience.
Yeah,
The longer you've been in this business, the more you kind of know. You could look at something in a couple of minutes and say if it's a deal or if it's not a deal.
yep.
And a lot of times too, you have to have a spirit of discernment.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some situations, some people may come around you and it just doesn't feel good. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I'm gonna add like I agree 100%. You got to write it down. It's got to be very specific,
Mhm.
right? If you put financial freedom, you're like our students know if I hear that,
You've told me.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, thanks, right? And I'm looking for world peace too. Thank you. Right?
Mhm.
Like, and it's not that we're not looking for it. It's just you
Yeah.
can't be held accountable is number one, right? And then the other challenge I had was on the vision was sometimes I thought it was my vision and it was actually just to look good. Like it really wasn't my vision. Like, some people in our industry, and I'll use on the business end of it is they want 1,000 doors or 100 doors, whatever that looks like.
Mhm.
And for me, when I got into the real estate game, I thought I wanted that, and I really didn't. And I kind of joke about it. I'm more like my wife. I just like money, and what I mean that is it doesn't matter where it comes from.
Mhm.
Like some people really love it, and they're just like, okay, I own 20 doors, but they're making $100 a month, right, on
Yeah.
leverage, and I get it,
Math,
and that's okay.
math
Like I'm
stop
not.
messing.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. And
Yeah.
what I'm really alluding to was that I thought that that's the vision I should have because when you're in real estate, that's everyone's goal because they told you, right?
Yeah.
That was number one that I would. So in your vision,
Sometimes your vision change as you become more exposed. Exposure leads to growth, exposure leads to opportunity. So
yeah,
whereas, like, say for instance, you may have want to make, X amount
yeah,
when you stay around the campfire, continue when you go to meetings and you
yeah,
just it just opens your mind up to more,
yeah.
you
I
know.
agree. And so the other thing I would tell you, and go ahead and put in the chat. First of all, put in the chat, how many of you guys actually work on a vision? Like you actually have a written vision of your life,
Or a
right?
vision
So
board.
a vision board, but just a true vision
Yeah.
of anything, right? Like you're writing it down. The second thing was when I first worked on it, I thought it was only your business vision. Like I was really because I'm going to build a business plan. I'm only going to do this, and I didn't work on my personal. What I'm going to tell you is, guess what? Your personal life is tied into your business.
Mhm.
And that's why in the mastermind, we work on your personal buckets first.
Yeah.
And we do this great exercise. And when you work on that personal end of it, you're going to figure out how much time you have on your business
Mhm.
in general. So you want to make sure you do both. They're interconnected. And so I made that mistake thinking they're 100% separated.
Mhm. And that's one of the things I like about the mastermind too. It's a holistic approach. It's not just like, yeah, make money, do deals, da da da
Yeah,
da da.
yeah,
You know, how are you doing with your interpersonal relationships?
yeah,
What are you doing with your health?
yeah,
Because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, and I've experienced this myself,
yeah,
and sometimes now I'm still experiencing it, which I'm shifting, with the just like the reminder from the mastermind. Sometimes you're doing good in business, but you're not spending like the quality
yeah.
time with your
I,
loved ones that you want to, or on your health, or
I'll tell you
and,
I don't know if you know this story. I know Alexis heard this a bunch of times, right? So I've been married 13 years. Remember, I know it right away. I was because otherwise my wife would be like, how long? No. So 13 years. And so while I was after losing everything, I was so focused on working on the business. And obviously you have the same, I know you well, like you have work ethic. I'm not afraid of work ethic all the way
yeah.
through. And my wife said, she goes, and you never want your wife to ever say this to you, is, do you still want to be married?
Mm,
And
yes.
I was like, uh-oh, right?
Hmm.
Indirectly, my sarcastic joke almost says, no, I'm kidding. What she was really saying was, when are you gonna have time for me?
Yeah.
You got to build that in. So it's great you're doing well in this, like at what cost? And
Exactly.
so I used to live in the world of or. I got to do this or I have to do that. And, I'm in Marshall Silver's inner circle. I joked with him. I spent 60,000 or actually $78,000 with him. And and when I saw him last time over the summer, I said, I can't believe I spent $78,000 with you to learn the word and. It literally changes my life. So what I invite our audience, yourself, even me, is when you're talking to other people, see how many times they use the word or versus every time they want to use the word or,
Hmm.
want to throw in the word and,
And
right?
yeah,
The other one is the other keywords, because words matter, right? Is I no longer say hope. I know. I know I'm going to be a great investor. I don't hope I do.
will, yeah,
Yeah,
or I'll
you're
try.
living into it, right? Yeah. Hey, we'll try to meet up for lunch, Aisha. Guess what? We're not meeting for lunch. Happen, right? Like if you say that versus I know I'll see you Saturday.
Yes,
Different worlds, right? So
yes.
language matters. I know, and you kind of touched on it. We've talked about it even yesterday. We can
Hmm.
teach you wholesaling, contract, like all that stuff's not really hard. It's that mindset that changes
Hmm.
everything.
Absolutely.
So you know what's so crazy? Our time is almost up. So
I
as we're,
can't believe we've been talking for this long.
I know. So
I
what I'm
hope
gonna
the
do
audience
is,
is getting a lot of value from it.
yeah. First of all, one of the things that we do ask BPM Maria, hopefully Alexa could throw it in the chat. If you could give us a 5-star Google review, and maybe one thing that you got from today or what you like about Aisha, it helps us out. The other thing is if you have any topics or items that you want us to do, like a podcast style or teach. If I don't know it, I'll try to get an expert to do that also, to teach, because people that know me, I'm always pushing everything on that. Whether we get vendor discounts, I'm always like, yeah, what are you going to do for us? And the idea is, and you have the same mentality, is it's about the community, right? It's about, I get so much pleasure giving back
Yes.
and fulfillment. It's the same, right? And so
Yes.
that's also important too. I'm not sure if we have any more questions, or because I'm going to also I'll give you a few minutes on final thoughts about, whether it's wholesaling. Um, let's just talk about best practices. If you had, for newbie wholesalers or people looking to expand, what would be a couple things what would your advice be for new wholesalers, or you're new to the business, or any of it? It could be mindset, all you name it.
For new wholesalers, the first thing is making that decision that that's what you want to do without being wishy-washy everything. You're probably not going to get anything done. So make that decision that, whether it be, obviously initially you're probably not just going to go in part-time, full-time. I wouldn't recommend
Yeah,
that. But make
yeah,
the decision that, okay, I want to do, if it's even one deal for the first year, two
yeah,
deals for the first year, and figure out how to do that. Stay around like the meetings, BPM RIA, DRIA meetings, or other investor meetings that's going to teach you how to do that, or just going to build your hope
yeah.
and and just have you see that it is possible for you
Mm,
as well. Because I'm a regular person, and Nish is a regular person.
yeah,
We think a little bit different as
yeah,
entrepreneurs, but we started out just like you started out, not knowing anything and just having the desire
yeah.
to gain information, to gain knowledge.
Can
Um,
can I ask can I ask you, were you scared to
I
get
don't
into
think
this?
I don't think I was scared. I think I
Okay,
was just overwhelmed initially because
okay,
it was just so much information.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, because the reason I'm asking, because I was scared. Like,
mm,
am I going to do this wrong? Am I going to lose this? I was more, when I first started, again, being transparent, I was definitely fear-based, like no confidence. Like I was good on the retail stuff. He told me mortgages, I could do that all day, the finance
yeah,
stuff. And this was so new. So I did have that. And the reason it's great that you weren't, or you didn't really have that. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people that are
Yeah.
on that. And, mentally, I was that little voice in your head. I would say, hey, thanks for sharing, Anish. And yeah, we're going to move past it, right?
Of
Meaning,
course.
I think about when I was 17 and got my driver's license. It was pretty scary. Actually, it was scary for all the other people, but
I learned in New York. I got my permit in New York, so
yeah.
say no more.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's pretty important. The other funny thing is, again, I do a lot of self-development. I know you also
That's
invest in yourself a
crucial.
ton. Non-real estate self-development
Of
also.
course, of course.
And one of the things that one of my coaches or in my group, they said, what would your life look like if you got everything that you wanted?
Hmm.
Right. So there were
Like
there were
that
two things that
question.
happened with that. I had to get over, and again, I'm still like a work in progress, right?
Hmm.
Meaning at one point I felt like I didn't deserve it. Growing up for whatever reason, Indian culture, we were, I don't know, middle class, lower middle class. I had a bad conversation with money.
Hmm.
Like if you had money, you were this kind of person.
I think our families, I mean, how we grow up,
Yeah,
that's what they teach. Oh, money is the root of all evil. It's not
yeah,
the root of all evil,
yeah,
it's the evil use or the bad
yeah.
use of it.
I was,
Is
you know
the
what, you're gonna
evil.
laugh. The breakthrough I had like the last 2 years, I was like, wow, I actually like money. And so I use some different mantras, like even on the meditation stuff, that money comes easy to me.
Yes.
Right. So I never believed that. So that
Affirmations.
was, yeah, like those affirmations.
Yeah.
And, without, I'll use some little bit of colorful language, is that when they asked me that, right, and said, if you got everything that you want, I said, well, what am I going to bitch about? I got everything I want. It freed up a lot of time, let me tell you.
Yeah. And it's important too that, for people to realize that they're living inside of one of their dreams or answered prayers while they're
Yeah.
waiting on the next one. So you always have to show gratitude because for some people, just knowing about this webinar, for example,
Yeah.
and just listening to us for the last hour and change, that could be a game changer.
Yeah.
We're hoping that it is
Yeah.
a game changer for you. So that's so important. Just work on yourself, listen to positive things
Hmm.
on YouTube or but just constantly feed your mind
So,
with
so
that
what?
positive energy. Stay away from negative people or
Yeah.
minimize it drastically.
So what's funny, even on our webinar in-person events, if they're free in general, 50% of the people don't show up. They
Mm.
register. So first of all, I think it's really important what you just said. I want to thank you guys for showing up. That's the first
Thank
step.
you guys.
Like you guys don't even, as I said, 50% haven't showed up. And then they're wondering why they're still in the same boat, right?
Mhm.
It hasn't made that change. So um, I think that, that's the first step. And then today also, the big things that I got today too were take action now. Like that
Yeah.
really,
Decide first and
yeah,
then take action.
yeah,
It all
yeah,
starts with a decision.
yeah. I thought that was really big too. So I thought that was really great. I know we have a winner. So listen, I know we're doing it for free. Someone actually got paid to hear from us with a free membership. So, Alexa, who is that winner?
So my raffle winner for the 1 year free membership is Gabriel L.
Gabriel.
It's
Yeah,
Gabriel.
congrats,
I
man.
mean, this is what happens when you come to every event. This is
Yeah, he was there yesterday, today. Maybe if you're up in
lots of
Boca.
entries in there.
Yeah, if you're in Boca,
Congrats.
come see me
Yeah.
tonight. We're gonna do how to analyze properties. I'm gonna try to do something a little bit different. I'm gonna give you a property, break you up into groups. It's gonna be some real stuff happening. We want to make it as interactive as possible. So, Gabriel, thank you so much for hopping on and winning too. So make sure you sign up for the Home Depot, all the other goodies too.
Yes, especially
We
the
do
Home
have,
Depot.
yeah, tonight, some of you guys, we do have a few seats left for Saturday. It's a full day. Next Million Mastermind, we're gonna have speakers, sponsors, panels.
Right.
We're gonna have Pete Zaleski talking about the condo vulture stuff in Miami. We're gonna have a multifamily. We're gonna
We're
have some
very
stuff with
close, Nish.
crypto, AI.
We have like maybe like one or two seats left from
Okay, yeah,
the web.
and and we're gonna feed you. So if you just want to come for the
Really good.
food, that no, I'm kidding. On that end, so
And
hopefully
I'll
you'll
be
see us
there as
Saturday.
well, speaking.
Yes,
And
Aisha will be there.
and like I'm gonna give a couple special like a special shout out to Jorge Ruiz, George. I seen him Wednesday, I seen him Saturday, I saw him yesterday, I saw him today on that end of it, and he still keeps showing up.
I love it.
And that,
So
I mean, what you just said, Anish,
yeah,
is so important because a lot of times people want stuff, but they don't even make that first decision to
yeah,
show up. I
yeah,
can't tell you time and time and again where, I mentioned certain things to people and they just never show up. You
yeah,
want to invest, but I tell you about something that could be life changing and you just
yeah.
never show up. You don't want it. You
Yeah,
just
and I
like
know
it, you
Adrian,
know?
yeah, Alexa put in our events. If you go to BPM RIA upcoming events, you could always opt in for our text message also. Um, the membership. If you actually reach out to Alexa, she could actually help you out on the membership. Also, again, you'll get a lot of goodies. If you actually use all the free stuff on the membership, you'll actually get paid to become a member. And what I mean by that is the rebates, discounts, all the above, right? So
And
again, you want to be in a community that's doing some big things, and that's what we're at 2025, whether it's BPM RIA, Next Million Mastermind, the guys from DRIA, we all have the same commitment of
mhm.
2025. We want to do some big, I was almost going to say a bad word, so I'll say big
No.
stuff.
Just a reminder, I know I see a lot of you in here are registered for this Saturday. So Aisha's teaching again this
Yep.
Saturday. So make sure you go say hi to her, handshake it up. Like we're here to network it. We're here to network as well. So
Yeah.
make sure you go say hi to her, get plugged in. Aisha, if you could please drop, any social media, how can they find you?
Yeah,
Anything
that would be
like
great.
that would be amazing in the chat. Love
Sure.
that. And you
Yeah.
guys find
And
her on Saturday.
and Aisha, thank you so much for
Thank
letting me
you.
steal your time. I mean, I got a lot of insight too today. And as I said, like you guys know when I do these podcasts, I like to be pretty raw. Like there's no set. You guys are basically listening in on Aisha and I having coffee. This
Yeah.
is the kind of conversations we have
Yeah.
all the way through. And so for us, it's very inspiring to have members and asking those questions. And our attitude again at BPM RIA, it's your RIA. So
Yeah. And
And
I
like
just want to leave.
coincidentally enough,
Oh,
that's her
sorry.
that no, that's your Instagram handle. It's Aisha. I go follow her at Aisha Flip and Inspire. I am obsessed. So good.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Thank you, Alexa. And I just want to leave everyone with this. Don't let 365 days pass you by and you find yourself exactly where you started. Growth begins with a single decision to shed what no longer serves you and to embrace what will carry you forward. Commit to growth today, and a year from now, you'll thank yourself for starting. Remember, transformation isn't easy, but it's always worth it. Step into your potential, make that decision, take action, and make this year the year that you rise into the person that you were meant to be.
wow, I love it.
Oh,
I got
uh,
you.
I'm pumped. I love it. And guys, she has amazing quotes and posts and things on her page too. It's just, yeah,
Yeah,
go follow her, get plugged in. And
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, Aisha, and thank you, Anish.
Thank you
thank
guys
you
for having
guys.
me. Thanks, Anish and Alexa, for having me. It
Awesome.
was fun. It was
Yeah,
fun.
see, and I'll see you Saturday. So
Yeah, I'll
We'll
see.
have Oh, so sorry. We'll
yeah,
have this recorded and posted on YouTube channel within 24 hours, you guys. So make sure you go subscribe, youtube.com/at BPM REIA. All right.
yep. Thank you guys, and I'll see some of you
Thank
guys tonight.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.